deep beneath our feet, hidden under stone and time, lie forgotten palaces built by lost empires. These aren't stories from fairy tales, they are real, ancient wonders buried underground. Imagine walking on a city street, not knowing that beneath your shoes lies a royal hall filled with secret tunnels, golden chambers, and carvings of gods that once ruled the world. Some of these places were made to protect kings from enemies, others were built to honor gods, and some, no one really knows why they were made at all. As time passed, empires fell, and the earth swallowed their secrets. Modern cities rose above them, never realizing what treasures were sleeping below. In today's journey, we'll travel deep underground from Turkey to China, from Egypt to India to uncover the lost palaces of forgotten empires. Each one holds clues about who built them and why they were buried. So grab your torch, take a deep breath, and step with me into the darkness because what you're about to see might change how you see history forever. Derinkuyu, Turkey's hidden underground city palace. In the heart of Turkey, under the quiet town of Derinkuyu, lies something incredible. A giant underground city built thousands of years ago. At first glance, Derinkuyu looks like any small town, but below it, more than 280 feet deep, there's a hidden world carved entirely out of volcanic rock. This underground palace wasn't just a few rooms or tunnels. It had 13 floors, each with halls, kitchens, stables, and even churches. It could hold over 20,000 people. Imagine a whole city living underground with animals, food storage, and wells for water. But who built it? That's the big mystery. Some believe the Phrygians, an ancient people, created it almost 3,000 years ago. Others think it's even older, made by a lost civilization we don't know about yet. The rooms were made with perfect care. Large stone doors could roll shut to block enemies. Air shafts brought fresh air from the surface. There were secret tunnels that connected to other underground towns miles away. It's like a giant maze, but one built with intelligence and purpose. When people from the Byzantine Empire later discovered it, they used Derinkuyu as a safe palace during wars. The underground churches still have crosses carved into the walls, silent reminders of those who prayed here while the world above was on fire. Today, visitors can walk through its narrow tunnels and wide chambers. It feels like stepping into another time where kings and priests might have walked in the flicker of torchlight, protecting their secrets from the world above. But what if Derinkuyu wasn't just a shelter? Some historians say its design with its deep wells and sealed passages looks more like a fortress for royal families, not just common people. Maybe it was a secret palace where ancient rulers hid their treasures or conducted secret rituals. Whatever the truth is, Derinkuyu proves one thing. Even when an empire falls, its greatest secrets often lie hidden below our feet. The Hippodrome of Halsaflieni, Malta's mysterious stone temple. On the small island of Malta, hidden beneath the city of Paula, lies one of the strangest underground palaces ever found, the Hippodrome of Halsaflieni. It's not just a tomb or a temple, it's both, and maybe even more than that. Discovered by accident in 1902 when workers were digging for a house foundation, the Hypogeum opened a doorway to a lost world that's over 5,000 years older than the pyramids of Egypt. The Hypogeum has 3 underground levels, carved completely by hand into limestone. There are smooth walls, red spiral paintings, and round rooms that echo when you speak. Some chambers have perfect acoustics. Scientists say that even a whisper in one room can be heard clearly in another. But here's where it gets mysterious. No one knows who built it or how. The temple's builders left no written records. What we do know is that it was used for both worship and burial. Over 7,000 skeletons were found here, placed carefully as if guarding the halls. Archaeologists also found strange figure statues of sleeping women, tiny clay idols, and carvings that might show the sun, moon, and stars. It's as if this underground palace was a place where the living spoke to the spirits and the gods at the same time. And then there's one chamber that stands out called the Oracle Room. When someone speaks inside it, their voice grows deeper, echoing like thunder. Some believe priests use this room to give divine messages, making their voices sound like the gods themselves. Even modern scientists can't fully explain the perfect sound design or how ancient people dug through rock so neatly with no metal tools. Some say this wasn't just a temple, it might have been a royal spiritual palace, where leaders connected with higher powers to guide their empires. The Hippodrome remains sealed to protect it today, but for those who have entered, it feels less like a ruin and more like stepping into a dream, a place where stone remembers every secret ever whispered in the dark. The Pataliputra Underground Palace, lost empire of India. Long ago, in the heart of ancient India, stood a city so powerful it ruled half the known world Pataliputra, the capital of the Mauryan Empire. But hidden beneath its royal courts and golden towers, there were whispers of something even grander, an underground palace built for kings and gods. Historians believe this secret palace was built during the time of Emperor Ashoka, around 250 BCE, one of the greatest rulers in Indian history. Ashoka was known for his wisdom and for spreading peace after years of war, but he also loved mystery and sacred design. The underground chambers of Pataliputra were said to be made of polished stone, shining like mirrors. Ancient Greek travelers like Megasthenes wrote about Pataliputra, calling it one of the most beautiful cities in the world. He spoke of secret tunnels and rooms that were used by royal families to move unseen to a hidden palace below the palace. Some records suggest that these underground halls were also used for royal meetings, storing treasure and protecting sacred texts. When enemies attacked, the rulers could escape through the tunnels to safe areas outside the city. But that's not all. Ancient writings hint that Ashoka used the underground chambers for something much deeper spiritual experiments. After turning to Buddhism, he became fascinated by the power of meditation and built hidden sanctuaries where monks could pray in silence, far away from noise and light. Over time, the river Ganges changed its course, floods covered the land, and Pataliputra disappeared under layers of earth and history. The great palaces, including its underground wonders, were buried for over 2,000 years. Archaeologists have found stone pillars, wooden foundations, and deep wells that suggest an enormous complex once lay beneath the ground, perhaps the very palace spoken of in ancient texts. Some locals still say that deep under modern Patna, parts of that lost palace remain sealed in darkness, waiting to be uncovered. Whether it was a royal escape route, a spiritual hall, or a temple to hidden gods, the underground palace of Pataliputra tells us one thing. Even the greatest empires knew that some of their secrets were too powerful for the sunlight. The Emperor's Tomb of China, the secret palace beneath the hill. In the center of China, near the city of Xi'an, stands a quiet green hill. It looks peaceful, just another part of the countryside. But beneath that hill lies one of the most extraordinary secrets ever built, the underground palace of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang. He was the man who united all of China over 2,000 years ago, building roads, walls, and armies stronger than any before. But even after ruling the living world, Emperor Qin wanted to rule in death too. So he ordered thousands of workers to build him an entire palace underground, a perfect copy of his royal city above. Inside his tomb, they created halls filled with treasures, rivers made of flowing mercury, and ceilings painted with stars to look like the night sky. Around him, over 8,000 life-size soldiers of the famous Terracotta Army were buried to protect him forever. Each soldier has a different face, armor, and weapon. No two are the same. Ancient writings say the underground palace has mountains made of bronze and rivers that shine like silver. The workers who built it were never allowed to leave to make sure no one would reveal its location. When the emperor died, they sealed the tomb and let the earth cover it, hiding it from the world. For centuries, no one knew it was there. Then, in 1974, farmers digging a well found a clay head, and the Terracotta Army was discovered. But here's the mystery. The main burial chamber, the emperor's true underground palace, has never been opened. Scientists fear that opening it could destroy the fragile treasures inside or release deadly mercury vapor trapped for 2,000 years. So, under that peaceful hill, the emperor still lies in his silent kingdom, surrounded by his army, guarded by time. It's a palace built not for the living, but for eternal rule in the afterlife. And it reminds us that some emperors didn't just dream of power, they built it into the very ground beneath their feet. The hidden Maya palace of El Mirador. Deep in the dense jungles of Guatemala, covered by thick vines and trees, lies the ancient Maya city of El Mirador, once the home of a powerful and mysterious empire. But what makes this place even more incredible is what lies beneath it. A vast underground palace and tunnel system that may have connected temples, pyramids, and royal tombs. El Mirador was built more than 2,600 years ago, long before famous Maya cities like Tikal or Chichen Itza. It was a city of giants, with pyramids taller than modern buildings and palaces made of shining white stone. Yet under the earth, the Maya carved secret passageways and chambers hidden from the sun. Archaeologists believe these underground areas were used by Maya kings and priests to perform rituals, store treasures, and even escape from danger. Some chambers are decorated with carvings of gods, serpents, and celestial symbols. In one part, explorers found a long tunnel that leads under the main pyramid, possibly to the royal burial chambers, an underground palace where rulers were buried with gold, jade, and sacred objects. The Maya believed the underworld, called Xibalba, was a place of gods and spirits. By building palaces beneath the ground, they thought they could connect with both the heavens above and the world of the dead below. Every tunnel and chamber had meaning like a pathway between life and death, light and darkness. Modern explorers who enter El Mirador's tunnels say it feels like stepping into another world world of cool air, echoing steps, and walls covered in ancient art. But much of the underground network is still buried. Only a fraction has been uncovered because the jungle has reclaimed the city for over 1,000 years. Some even believe there's still a hidden royal complex untouched, holding the final resting place of the Maya's greatest kings. El Mirador's underground palace shows how deeply the Maya understood both nature and the spirit world. To them, the earth wasn't just the ground they walked on, it was the door to eternity. The Roman emperor's subterranean palace. In the ancient city of Split, Croatia, there lies a grand structure that looks like a fortress, but beneath it hides a secret world. This is the palace of Emperor Diocletian, one of Rome's most powerful rulers, and under its stone floors stretches a subterranean palace, a hidden mirror of the emperor's royal halls above. Built around 305 CE, Diocletian's palace was meant to be both a home and a fortress. He was a mighty emperor who ruled half the world, but when he retired, he wanted a palace worthy of a god. So he built a giant complex by the sea, filled with marble, statues, and golden rooms. But to support the palace and maybe hide its secrets, builders created an enormous underground level. These underground halls were not simple basements. They copied the layout of the rooms above the dining halls, corridors, and private chambers all in stone. Some historians believe this was done to keep the structure strong, but others think it had a hidden purpose. In these deep, dark chambers, archaeologists found traces of royal storage rooms, water systems, and secret passages that may have allowed the emperor to move unseen. One chamber, larger than a cathedral, may have been used for rituals or meetings away from the public eye. After the fall of Rome, the upper palace was looted and new towns were built on top of it. But the underground palace remained untouched for centuries, perfectly preserved like a time capsule. When explorers entered it in the modern era, they found walls covered in soot from ancient fires, jars, tools, and strange carvings. It was as if the emperor's shadow still lingered there. Today, you can walk through these underground halls in Split. The air feels heavy and cool, and the stone arches rise like the ribs of a sleeping giant. You can almost imagine Emperor Diocletian walking there at night, a ruler surrounded by silence, still guarding his empire even after death. His underground palace reminds us that even the most powerful men of Rome sought refuge below the earth where power, mystery, and eternity meet. The Egyptian underground city of Hawara. In the sands of Egypt, not far from the pyramids, lies one of the most mysterious places ever built, the labyrinth of Hawara, also known as Egypt's underground city palace. Long ago, travelers called it one of the wonders of the ancient world. Today, only a few ruins remain above ground, but beneath, legends say, lies a hidden maze built for kings and gods. The labyrinth was said to be created by Pharaoh Amenemhat III around 1800 BCE during Egypt's Middle Kingdom. He ruled a time of great wealth and power, and he wanted a palace so magnificent that even the gods would be impressed. So he built it beneath the desert sands, a structure that combined a royal residence, a temple, and a tomb. According to ancient Greek historians like Herodotus and Strabo, the underground complex had 3,000 rooms, connected by twisting corridors, hidden chambers, and secret passageways. There were walls covered in carvings of gods, stars, and sacred animals. Some rooms were said to contain entire histories of Egypt written in stone. Herodotus, who visited it himself, wrote that the labyrinth was more impressive than all the pyramids combined. But after the pharaoh's death, earthquakes and floods buried much of it. Later, rulers stripped the stone to build their own temples, and soon, the underground palace of Hawara vanished under the shifting sands. In the 1800s, explorers and archaeologists tried to uncover it. Flinders Petrie, a famous British archaeologist, found remains of giant stone walls, tunnels, and an entrance leading downward, confirming that something huge once existed there. But even today, most of the underground palace remains buried, unreachable underwater and sand. Some scientists using radar scanning have detected massive chambers still hidden below the ground, suggesting that the labyrinth might still be there, perfectly preserved. Was it truly a palace, a temple, or something else, a meeting place between humans and gods? No one knows for sure, but if the labyrinth of Hawara is ever fully uncovered, it could reveal the greatest secret of ancient Egypt, a palace built not for the world of the living, but for eternity itself. Across the world, from the deserts of Egypt to the jungles of Guatemala, from the hills of China to the stone cities of Rome, every great empire built not only upward, but downward. Beneath their golden temples and marble palaces, they carved secret worlds, hidden sanctuaries, escape routes, and chambers made for gods, not men. Maybe they did it to hide their power, maybe to protect their treasures, or maybe deep down they believed that true eternity could only be found below the earth in the silence, in the dark, where time stands still. Today we we walk on top of these buried empires without even realizing it. Skyscrapers rise above the same ground where kings once ruled from hidden palaces, and every tunnel, every buried chamber we uncover reminds us that history is far from finished. Because if the ground beneath us can hide whole cities and palaces, what else might still be sleeping there waiting for us to discover? So the next time you look at a mountain, a hill, or a quiet city street, remember, the world beneath your feet may hold the lost throne of an ancient empire.